Hey everybody, this is Kai Deering, and today, I can't believe it, it's already January 28th, 2021. January is gone of 2021, kind of crazy. But this is Kai on the fly, and I'm Kai, and I love coming to you every Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific and all time zones in between. Why? Just to share with you some of my favorite people that I've either worked with, networked with over the last 20 plus years, to bring you incredible tips, tricks, and hacks to be a better entrepreneur, to be a better business owner, to be a better whole you. And so I'm excited to share with you today a gal I've had the opportunity to know for several years now. We've kind of our paths have crossed, whether it was networking or some projects that we've been working on. And I love the fact that my guest today, Stacy Weber, her company name is really cool. True You Training. I love that because we all want to be more authentic and be ourselves. And she's just an inspiration, and she's super passionate, high energy. She's a public speaker, a high performance coach, an incredible corporate trainer with an impressive background of people who've hired her. And she's the creator of Limitless Life, Body, and Business Training and Unleashing Your Sales Potential program, which I think is the most famous one I've kind of heard of. So, and she has 25 years of experience in sales and leadership and training. And I love that it kind of fits because she's got the fitness piece, the coaching piece, and her background was beauty sales, which is absolutely appropriate for this. She's a certified life coach and personal fitness trainer, which I certainly could use a little more of. And she specializes in working with people to create really an unstoppable mindset and unlimited possibilities. Some people want more of that in their lives. And using the law of attraction, she guides folks to really a better mindset, habits, beliefs, goals, to really create the best life, body. I love it, the whole person. And so I'm excited to be able to bring to you a good friend of mine, a business colleague of mine, Stacy Weber. So thank you so much for joining us here today. Super excited to have you on the show.
Me too. This is so fun, and I love hanging out with you because you've got such great energy, and you just give to your community, to people that you connect with. And thanks for having me. This is fun.
Yeah, I feel the same way about you. First time we met in that coffee shop in Santana Row, we were kindred spirits, and it's been fun to be able to be mentored by you and have you speak for some of my groups, and I've been interviewed by you and vice versa. So we have a long history of connecting, but I really want to kind of break it down. We've got some viewers here today that are absolutely welcome to comment as well. But here's what I want to ask you is some people have always heard, law of attraction. What in the world is that? And I love it because I've been studying that for a long time. In big part because of you and a couple of our other friends. Tell people, what is it and why is that a big part of your practice?
Well, it's interesting because I knew about the law of attraction, but then when I decided to move out of corporate sales and into my own business, this is actually my background in coaching. It's the basis of how I help people and how I coach people. And really, people have everything they need within. It's just, finding that. And so what is the law of attraction? Really, it is energy. It's about the energy of your thoughts and your activities, your emotions, really powerful in your emotions. So what you put out, you're going to get back, right? And so like attracts like. And so that's why a lot of people don't really know about it because they just live. They automatically live instead of intentionally thinking about what are you putting out. If you're thinking about negative stuff or worried about stuff, more things to worry about are going to come in. And it really is proven scientifically that everything is energy, the chair you're sitting in. And so everything is putting out an energetic flow. Just because we can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. Right. So that's really what it's about. It's so much about your energy. And if people were more aware of that, that would really help them in every aspect of their life.
I couldn't agree more. And I was going to ask you about this a little later in this show, but this kind of is poignant right now. But like you said, if people put out there into the universe worry and all that, it can really bounce back to you. And so let's talk really quickly about this last year. Come on, it's been a bugger for the last 10 months. I know, you personally have had some personal issues in your family. I have too, not just to mention everything happening in the world and, health-wise and all that stuff. So how would you, and struggle is a lot of growth. I know that's sort of what inspired you too to take charge of your own life. How do people handle that then? Because it's legit. There is worry, there is struggle, there is, these things and that are happening right now. So it's not all sunshine and roses.
No.
How do they manage this piece? It's a little bit undaunting at times here.
It is. And for everyone, this is what I found, because I work with so many different people. I work with business owners and helping them grow in their business and their life. And everyone is affected this year differently, right? In some cases, it's profoundly emotional, with losing family members, losing friends. And then on the other flip side, some people are having tremendous growth and, in their business, because it is supporting what people need, right? So you could have tremendous growth in your income, or you could have the opposite, or just a mix. And it's not just the pandemic, it's politically, it's just everything. And so emotions are just all over the place. And that, not to say that you should be not feeling those things, because it's important to feel them. If not, you're suppressing them. Like, that's going to come up another time for you. You shouldn't suppress them. You should feel them. And then you choose if how long you want to stay there. See, that's the point, is you can get deep. It's like the law of attraction. You start going, oh my gosh, you start watching the news, and you're looking at your phone constantly. What's next, right? And that just propels you into this negativity. And then that just brings on more. You're going to see more and more of it, instead of looking, so what's the positive in this? What can I see as the gift in this? And to me, that's where you have your power. You go, where do I want to choose to focus my life or my business? And you'll find that the more you look for the good things, more good things will show up.
I hear you saying just awareness of what are your thoughts about. And then number two, choosing different, whether it's choosing your thoughts or choosing to turn off the news and not, I mean, at some point, just, it's a train wreck, just turn it off.
It is. And it could be, and the news loves to find the thing that is most spectacular. And so that's what they're going to show. And so you can choose to go, where do I want to focus? And some people listen to radio, news, or some news talk radio. Oh my gosh, you could go. So you really want to go, where do I want to choose to put my focus on? Is it what's happening good, or do I want to focus on all the negative?
Yeah, and I love that about, we are in a couple of other groups and we just refuse to talk about it. So it's awesome. It's really great. I know there's people that are watching the show that maybe aren't entrepreneurs yet. And I know both you and I have done the corporate route. And at some point, I feel like we kind of woke up from the matrix and decided there was something different that we could choose, speaking of choice. And what was that moment for you? And how do you know if that's appropriate for somebody else who's in a challenge? Like, so let's say they're at a crossroads at their career. How do you know if entrepreneurial is right for them, or should they just stay within their career? Because some people are coin operated. They're better suited to work for somebody. How did that play out for you in your personal life, making that jump to being an entrepreneur? And how do you coach others who either should be entrepreneurs and get out, or should stay and make it work?
There's a question for everyone, and it's individual, right? So if you had asked me 20 years ago, would you be having your own business? I would have said, oh no, what are you talking about, right? There was no really thought in my mind that would be part of what I would do. And when I first started in sales, I was very shy. I was just like, oh my gosh, wow, I'm gonna get into sales. Like I remember when I interviewed for my first position as a salesperson, they go, are you aggressive or are you determined? And I'm like, I'm more, determined. I'm the long, haul kind of person. I'll keep going and keep trying. But, no, I didn't think that. So I grew a lot. I mean, I really appreciate my corporate position. That's where I got all my learning and experience. So without it, I wouldn't have been able to do what I do, right? But I got to the point, this is what happened to me. I got to the point where I felt like I wasn't learning anymore. I wasn't growing. And I felt so stagnant, and it was lonely. I just felt like I was lost, like I lost myself. And so there was a point where I decided, it's time for you to do something different. It was time for me to find that growth that I was looking for. And so that's actually where the point where I was like, okay, I've lost myself. I need to find myself again. And that's why my company's called True You, to make sure that I'm in who, to be honest with who I truly am, and to find that what I guess what a couple of my clients recently have said, what lights you up? Your life feels like it's lighting me up and I love what I do every day, that's where you should be. But if you're like your light's dimming and you're not happy, then maybe that's the time where you go, what do I want? What do I want? And that's what the key was for me, is what do I truly want to do? And does my life light me up anymore? And it didn't. And so that's when I started looking while I was still at a job. And that's what I would suggest for people. Like, look for things, explore before you jump out and go, what do I really want? And then get your feet wet, try some different things, and then maybe you take the leap. But just really ask yourself that question: what do you really want? What do you really want?
And that's a hard one sometimes for people to answer, because we've been, maybe our parents have put things into us that this is how it should be, and and society and all that. So it sometimes is a difficult choice for people. I totally agree. And then, I like the fact that you have this whole fitness piece in your practice. So it's not just about, the mindset, which I think is a big, big part of it. But I really love that about the integration. How did you get involved in fitness? Has it always been there? And then how do you integrate that kind of within your practice?
That's a good question. Well, I've always loved exercise. I was in gymnastics in high school and taught gymnastics. But I've always been a lover of moving my body and being outdoors. I'm huge in being outdoors. Makes me feel good. I love the energy of outside. But I believe, like you were saying at the very beginning when you introduce yourself, it's about the whole person. Because, and I look back at my life and I thought, okay, here's my business, here's my personal life, and here's my fitness. But honestly, what I found, it's all connected. It's all connected. It's not separate. And so for me, when I work with people as a coach for their business, you got to include the personal life and the energy that your body has. And without energy, you really can't do all the things you want, like your personal life, your family, hanging out with kids and running around. You got to have energy for that. You got to have energy to grow your business, whether you work for a company or you have your own business. And then just feeling good about who you are, your confidence. Really, it comes from the energy, inside. You don't have to look perfect. You don't. But if you feel good and you feel healthy, there's the key, and you have the energy and vitality, you can do whatever you want. That's the basis of everything. And plus, getting out of your head and into your body, because so much we can think all day, but sometimes you need it to stop. And when you get in your body and exercise and move, that really helps.
I love it, because I do think it's a big part of success, being able to make sure that because I always say, what you've got, you have your health or you have nothing else. So
Absolutely.
yeah, what good is all the money if you're what have you? So I want to share with you just a quick question that I have, and this is a plague of most entrepreneurs. So we know we got to do all these things. We've got to, exercise. We've got to, work on our business and do our bookkeeping and blah, 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 blah. And oh, by the way, we've got families and we've got obligations. And so I think balance is probably overrated. And I mean, because if you love what you do, you're going to be out of balance because you're doing it and you love it. But let's address that sort of balance thing, because sometimes I feel like, oh gosh, we got so much to do. Now it's social media, right? Stacy, you and I are just like, holy smokes, it's a lot. So how would you address with your clients, or give some tips here to folks about balance? What the heck? How are we gonna do this all as an entrepreneur?
I think it's choosing. Number one,
Mhm.
again, I go back to what do you want? And I think this is what I've seen a lot of times with, especially entrepreneurs. We're so excited about it that we put all of our energy there, and then we get off balance with that, and then we start feeling like we don't want to do it. Oh my gosh, I got to do that. Then it becomes I got to do this, right? And then that doesn't get you where you want to go. So you have to really look at, okay, how many hours do I want to work? Some people go, well, Stacy, I need the money. Yes, you do. But if you don't have the health and you don't have the relationships, because sometimes people,
You might be frozen on my end. All right. While we're waiting for Stacy, somebody put in the chat if you can see me. Is it me or is it Stacy? I'd love to know. We're having some very inclement weather over here where we live.
days it's about, I don't know if you lost me or still heard.
I think I was like, I put in the chat, is it me or is it you? And I think we lost you. We're having really bad weather in San Jose area. So yeah, I know you are too. So we were talking about that balance, and we lost you about a get to versus have to kind of conversation with yourself and choosing.
Yes. So like there's some days I'll go, what am I going to do for myself today? Because you could be doing, going, and I'm one of those people from corporate that was always doing. So some days I'll just go, okay, what am I going to do for myself today? Which these days, not really can you go anywhere, but I'm going to go to Starbucks. I'm going to get something. I'm going to get a coffee, and I'm just going to hang out and just be, right? Just be with myself. And that says you're important, not just what you do, but just being for yourself is important. And because there was times in my life that I felt like I was doing for everyone else and not myself. And then what's the point of life if you're not doing something for yourself? That's saying yes to you, right? It's just like exercise. I always say that's saying yes to you, and that you are important, that you're doing something for yourself. So you really want to be mindful every single day. I do that in the morning by doing like a little ritual that I create my intentions. I say what I'm grateful for, what I write down my successes and what I want to let go. So it gets me centered on what's important and how I want to feel, because that will help you understand how much time should I be working today, or want to work, not should, but want to work today, right? And having that choice, you do have a choice every day on where you want to focus on your business, yourself, your relationships. I have a client who said, I really want to read the Bible. I want that in my life. That's important. But yet those are things that we put on the side burner because other things become more important. Like, oh, my business, I got to call this person back. But you know what? Those little things like centering, meditation, exercise are the times that we go, this is what life's about. Reading the Bible, spending time with our children, even if it's just, 10 minutes, a half an hour, those are the times that you'll remember.
Yeah. And I think it's hard for women, especially because then there's that whole guilt thing. Like you feel guilty when you're working, and then you feel guilty when you're with your family because you're not working. And then, there's that whole piece too. And I want to share with you, Atma had said, how important is calendaring everything? So how do you, because we're talking about balance. So is that a part of how, you organize your time and organize where you're at? Does your calendar have a big part to do with it? Thanks, Atma.
Yeah. Again, I go back to what do I want? Like everybody has to really say that honestly, not just in their business. They go, what do I want? Do I want a thriving relationship? Do I want, kids that, my kids are 20 and 24 now, like having a conversation with them for 10 minutes is like, wow to me. Or calling my parents who are 85.
Wow.
Like those are important conversations. So Yes. Do I go, okay, once a week, calling my parents, calling my kids, but I do calendar my meditation, my exercise. I do that every day because that's for me, right? So yes, all of those things, but it's remembering to put those pieces of your life on your calendar, because a lot of people go, that's the thing that does not get on, and everything else that has to do with your business is on your calendar. So yeah, a lot of times people color code. I've seen a lot of my clients say, here's, green is my family and this or that or whatever. Yeah.
So I know, let's transition a little bit to business. We've talked a lot about personal and how to do all of that. But I want to ask you really quickly, because I know you help businesses grow. And if you had, like, this is tips and tricks for entrepreneurs and business owners, what would be a tip or trick to be able to grow your business in sort of uncertain times? I know that, like you said, some are like our company's experiencing massive growth, but some are not. So what are some tips that you can give to either someone who's growing, grow more, or somebody who needs to really make 2021 happen because 2020 has, maybe not been a banner year, if you will? Would love for you to speak to some tips on that.
Mm-hmm. So three things I can think of off the top of my head. Number one, with everything, it seems like people have more on their plate. Children at home, family. Like I was talking about, my parents are 85. My kid, you know what I mean? Like, so you have more on your plate. So I think people are talking about productivity. How can they be more productive and focused? Distractions are huge right now with children, with everything, with the news and ever-changing things. So having some type of productivity focus, like how do you take away distractions and how do you stay focused? Like I said, I do a ritual every morning. I call it my morning mindset intention journal. I put that together. And so I get centered and go, what are the most important things that I do today? Not 10, not 15 on a to-do list, but like 4. If I had 4 things today that if I did them, I would feel tremendously productive, and it would move my business or my life forward. Will it move my business or life forward if I get these 4 things done? See, the problem is we get hung up on emails, Facebook. Some things take us off. And do we need to look at email every 15 minutes? No, because distractions take us away. And for us to get back on a project, it takes like 15 minutes to get our head focused again. So that would be one thing. The other thing would be change. I find a lot of people are going, what changes do I need to make this year that really going to make a difference in my business? And sometimes those are the things that scare you the most. I would say, ask yourself, what scares me the most about making this change? And a lot of times it's just up here. And what kind of support do you need to make that change? I'm doing that with a lot of people right now because they're afraid to move forward. They're afraid of success or failure. And sometimes we just need to take one step and ask yourself, what's one step you could take that will help you move that? Is it finding a resource, going on Google? Gosh, we've got so many resources out there. Ask a friend, ask a mentor. That's how I got into personal training. I was working with a trainer. I said, how do I start? How can I be a personal trainer? And he helped me. He was the start of all of it. All I had to do is ask one question to a mentor, and he gave me the next steps, right? And then just the third thing real quick, and that is I found emotions are high, right? People are emotional right now. And so if we can really be mindful of people's emotions, because when emotions are high, intelligence is low, right? We don't think clearly and make decisions necessarily in the best way when we're there. So being mindful of people's emotions and how they're feeling can really be helpful in your relationships and your business.
I love it. And thank you, Danielle, who said you read my mind with success. That was awesome. Thank you. And I know, for instance, the first one you address is kind of avoidance behavior. We all have a tendency to want to do avoidance behavior. We act like we're working because we're checking our email, right? And then I love the changes and just ask. It's so funny. Many of us are so stuck in our head, especially brainwashed from corporate, that if you ask, it's weakness. And it's not. Like, to get ahead in the world, you need a big team of people to help you, whether it's a coach like you or, paying for it, or mentors. And then I love this. When emotion is high, intelligence is low. How many of us have been in an emotional moment and regretted some of the things that we've said because we're not thinking clearly? So I'm stealing that. Emotional success, emotional is high and intelligence is low. That is amazing. Gosh, I love that. That was great tips. I know that you have been very strategic with networking, and that's kind of how we met. And I love to network. I guess I have a heart for people. I just love finding out about them, learning about them, and I think some people have a weird misconception about networking. Like, I didn't get a client. I went to this event and I didn't get one client. This thing doesn't work. Okay. So I would love for business owners who are wanting to be strategic in a place where we can't go maybe walk into people's doors, or we're not out and about as often, or people aren't walking into your storefront like they were. Networking is going to be a big part of that. So can you talk to people to set proper expectations for networking?
Yeah. What popped in my head was networking is a long-term sport. It is not a short-term gain. It is about creating relationships, building relationships, and it takes time. Do you sometimes get business right away if you connect with your ideal person? Yes, but most of the time it's about creating those long-term relationships and building power partners, like working together. I always say, I love to ask questions when I'm networking, to say, who are you looking for? How can I be a resource for you? Be that giver when you talk with people, because what happens sometimes is you're ready to tell them who you are and what you do, and you're like excited, and that's terrific. But people, it's about this energy. I said this at the very beginning. It's like, what energy are you bringing into what you're doing? Are you there, needing to get clients? People feel that. So if you come in with this giving energy and want to have creating relationships, helping one another, that's when the magic happens, right? So come with the energy of, this is a long-term thing. I'm here to meet people, have fun, and create relationships and build upon that. And you will find it will work. You will have people coming and referring, and if you want speaking and things like that. But tell people if someone asks you, how can I help you? Tell them what you need, and then vice versa. Do that with them as well.
It's so smart, because I know, so you and I think we met like 2018, right? So just a few years ago. But since then, I've had a speaking engagement for you, maybe not business per se, but I've had a speaking engagement for you. I bought your morning journal, which I got it as a gift too. I loved it so much. You've interviewed me because you have a membership through somebody else through that, but you loved it and wanted to help me, even though I didn't necessarily get you the membership. Then we're doing our collaboration on social media, right? So it doesn't have to be a tit for tat. Like, I did this, you did that. It's kind of just the pay it forward. So, and it's about resources. It's about, you never know. So like, our collaboration on social media, may bring you business, but we didn't, you know what I mean? So I love how it's like an Easter egg hunt, or, you're just never know what you're going to get. And it makes it really fun to see where things are going to go years later, and look back and say, wow, that was a chance meeting, and look at how far we've come, or how close we've become, or what great friends it's really neat.
It is. And back when I was in corporate, I did not do any networking. I was like, what is that? I mean, I know what networking is, but then once I started my own business, it was like, that's what I didn't want to sit at home. Oh my gosh. And that was before the pandemic, right? But I was in my office. I'm like, I got to get out. because that's where the magic happens. When you're helping one another, when you're working together, and you refer people, or you promote someone else, like promoting their free thing, or promoting them to get to be more seen speaking, all of that helps everyone. It's a win-win for everyone.
Absolutely. And speaking of promoting, gosh, that half an hour went so fast. We're already at the half an hour mark. Can't believe it. Speaking of promoting, I would love, Stacy, for people who, we've got a big chat rolling right now. If anybody wants to engage with you, I know you've got some amazing free resources, kind of a gift for folks. So if you want to share, people, what's the best way to engage with you, and what resources do you have to share those couple of items we talked about? That'd be great.
Sure. So yeah, thank you. And so I have a couple of resources, and like Kai was saying at the very beginning, I believe it's the whole person, right? So I do have a fun live group virtual fitness booty. It's a booty boot camp. It works on your booty, and it's on February 6th from 10 to 11. I can drop a link. I don't know if this will be somewhere else, or you can pop a link in for that Everbright free boot camp. And then also I have a 4 steps to ignite your life and business without the overwhelm. So it's like a step-by-step success path on how you can move forward and create that change, like I was saying before, in your life and business. And I'm at trueyoutraining.com. That's my website if anybody wants to connect with me.
True You, I'm putting it in the chat here. True You, TRUYOU, is that right?
Right.
Training.com. Okay, so that's in the chat. And then this will be on my business page. So you're welcome to go in there, Stacy, share it, and put in your resources. Awesome. I know, just real quickly, Atma said thanks for sharing all this. So you really, people really appreciated that. So I want to thank you so much. So again, this was every Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific, all time zones in between. We are going to give you and come to you with some of the best practices and folks that I've personally done business with, worked with, that have great tips and hacks and trips. So hacks, tips, and tricks. Boy, that's a tongue twister. So thank you so much. Appreciate everybody coming. Stacy, you rock. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.